Sangye Chodam Soje Chonam Chanjo Bardo Dani Gyapsun Che Ndage Jinsun Yebe Zonam Dola Benje Sangye Drobara Sho Sangye Chodam Soje Chonam La Chanjo Bardo Dani Gyapsun Che Ndage Jinsun Dola Benje Sangye Drobara Sho Chedan Zoje Zonam La Chanjo Bardo Dani Gyapsonch Dagi Jinso Jebe Zonam Jen Dola Benje Sanje Do. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings. From now until enlightenment, I take refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And by the merit created in this practice, may I attain the state of Buddhahood for the benefit of all sentient beings.
계점님이 코 집에 한전데 게 인상 지 오늘 치와라 리바스리 게요 말에 어떻게 되면에 오늘 파말로 두주딩주 송대게 야도 렌데게 인데게 아니 랑게부 진배 장평진의 수행되게 부디기 마음반은 소소라 따그랬는데 레와잡대게 딜리 파마된 거 어떻게 두배지고야 원다 땐데 배 시리얼이 땐데 인존데 원숭도 통해 가서 원숭도 연구하러 원숭도 고고하러 통고하러 나왜 통고하러 아랑게 연구하러 대인도 가라 즉 땐데기 지와를 꾸림이야 말에 지와를 꾸림 내 인상 즉 반대 내비 뒤쳐대라 이제 또님 된 바시다 아니 트랜스포 투바지다 즉 덴디지 에네베 자와시 두부레 세테 수와레스
이 가르쳐는 계시는 건 작가신 간
다까진 줄탄 고바이 내게 코기 파면 다진도 대신 코 답에 조고냠 다진도 불란서 쟁기 뚫는데나 간징기린 바수이지
in the text of the poetic text of advice by Kongdan Rinpoche, there's a verse in which he says that the one whose hair turn into gray and then back bent like kind of bows, and the body becomes so aged, and when he or she walks, but even at that age, obviously here referring to the old age, and having young children, they put all their kind of hope, expectation for their children, but they kind of children passed away before them. So what Kongdan Rinpoche is saying here is his advice on the the uncertainty of the timing of our death. And we born with the nature, or with a kind of nature of disintegration or degeneration or passing away. So on top of that, being a nature of passing away or ending up with the death and dying, there's really no sequences for who passed away first. There's really no certainty for that. So so from Kongda Rinpoche's advice, what we can take from this advice is that with the understanding that our life has really, on top of being impermanent, not having a proper sequence of who dies first or later, and so while we are alive, we should be doing our best so that we can have a meaningful life, so that we can have a very successful or a good life.
오다 즉 뭐니 등인데 미세께 세비가라 즉 세미상니 장배 연된데 덴바제네 아니 즉 시와스인데 코 계산민이 치용으로 또 계속 아마 가면주 나진제 치용으로 또 되어 인자 내가 시다게 하게 가서로 맞아 소와 진리시 시다라 기마제제 간지 이 미다바 템베 톱기 뒤대 코 단도 연장 뒤절라 단진지 아니 지금 생기가 장배 연장 가지기도 잠미지 감제지 그렇게 겠네 이게 그거고 아니 랑게 센데 녀몽부 쳐라 민도에 답시 교회 쳐라 가서 툭툭지 장주기 센데 니제 당하니 잠바당 떠발로 아니 배 계속 가서 지 랑빌레 깨게 답시 덴데진 배투이 있나? 오다 미다베 쳐거데 오니 고쳐고 알아. 대마도 미다베 쳐거데 딘디기가 케마도 이제 네 소소 지 지나는 소리 잡아 있나? 답배 미다베 쳐거데 지 소소를 팽겨 말해. 즉 저거 관에 야 누구래데 럽고 말대 가지 딘디 지나는 게 미들라 말해 말해.
So when we say meaningful life, what it really refer to is, trying and maintaining or preserving or developing the positive qualities of the mind. And as we mentioned in the earlier teachings, dying came into existence at the very timing when we came, when we were born. And so from that time onwards, the dying process is actually already started. And so with that understanding, we shouldn't be really kind of unnecessarily sensitive to, death and dying. And by nature being impermanent, we have no control, but, time passes by. And but what we can do is we can make sure that the time that we have has been used very in a meaningful way, and that's what we can do. We really have not really have a control over timing itself, and so and we can do this through, as mentioned earlier, generating, promoting as much as we can the positive qualities of the mind, such as love, compassion, kindness, and on the other hand, try to reduce and eliminate as much as we can of the negative mentalities or negative emotions. So if we manage to follow this kind of lifestyle, way of living, and then we can pretty much say that the teaching on the impermanence has become meaningful to us, something meaningful. Otherwise, when you study the teachings on impermanence, and if you feel like this is something really kind of scaring us, how impermanent we are and the dead and dying, then that doesn't really serve the purpose of the teaching to that individual.
teni degalata chiwa sindi mazu migi chiwa rakwa sindi migi 통해 도와 통해 열데 소소 단진 슈 체우 관계 파저데 지기요 파기데 지야를 마다란 지기리 삼삼데 균이 끼깁니다 이 미기야가 가래길 렘바레 단진 슈 체우 관계 찍지 아니 랑길로라 아니 베 미다바 타멘 로사데 마시 텐데 렘베 관계 아니 베 이젠 치와데 랑레 페샤르마투바 대본단을 보지 디송도 최신도 렘바 루기 장스 라리 남 심베스 통세 닝다네 젠페 란생도 저미시 침발루 루레룬 세가 와다테레 다 루이나 루신데 라다 루 니나니 직 루데 렘바다 라데 장아지기 와레 디 코니나니 나란조 찌마치진레 세스고 와다 텐스 존데 지체네 심바게 루 랑 간잠 하고 있어라 루기 때문에 즉 젠바 세바 통도 간다 아니 소소기 라라 소소세기 말아 삼삼마다 디세기를 산데 배 셰라 코란이나 루레 지난테는 기도 말 라라 지난 기고 어다 텐데 존데 지난 조르메셔데 첸렘바 루기 사이네 배 소소 룸바리시 먼저 루이다 미 루이와 남시데 미 남시데 간제 즉 젠바 치와 통두가라 랑게 상도 데 저미셔데 첼렘바 루존에 차바레 세소레 보다 띵도 오늘에 라싱디 짱 예바데 오늘 당아조 때디 몬쿠디야레 라다라 샤샤 리무즈데다 소자 세사데레 아니 가지 셴바지기 라지 직 파기 루지 세 라데다 세야라 거기 따니 어디가라 아니코 라바투간데 간지코 야라니 루디 센 데포르던 어디가라 라테기 라테나 루스치네 디리 카페 루기시야도 디제네네 주고 셴바데기 뭐네 고 인규다 가지래 제산 잠바다 저와신데 상배 윤된데 란치수 요르세야데 뭐네 두투비야지 차디요레 디인디 그 인규다 가지래 루 세라 루 에니페 고다스거 건저다 건조기 에니페 자일 테바레 세라다 루 신데 테 디바요 마르셀라군 타레 유고 라게 텐디지 체인데가 하치 nga rale 에니페 nga 켜레샤 라 수수솔은 딘디지 깨근데 네 소된 딘디지 제기 있나 쟁이 지어나 nga 가서 지나게 그랬었네 고티 삼고네 딘디선데 심벨레가 빵을 가져도 와 띵어 녀자를 시작에 타는 모습게 말해 아주 몽부지다 로정제 갑두지래 와다 텐디기 즉 루유도와 라싱디 장고 시부지 루레 장아 와다 텐디 수수 소들라 라게 텐디지 간지 마르마시나 레바 베지다네 간지 수수 세야게 천자데 베식도 와 와다 대존이 지제데 원은 안조 다 민남시진데 텔을 하파시제네 첸딜라 젠라네 베 네마게제 가자 독도지 펜바도 가다 독도지 즉 미다비 초고르다 삼노땅 뒤솔라 단진지 상배인데는 공실돼야돼 시부지 깨진 모르겠어
the gross level of dying can be easily understood and we can be seen by our eyes. So there's really no problem, when we look at others and understanding and seeing, the others are dying. But the problem here is that, we look at others and we see, we feel that others are dying, but we really don't apply that kind of happening to oneself. So we are always kind of something that like looking at others, and this feeling that others are dying, but when I'm going to die, that question not posing to yourself. It happens because that's most of how kind of we sort of we react, when we see others. We know them and we feel kind of, with them, but we really don't look at oneself in that, I will be going through the same kind of process. This happens because of kind of, two reasons. The first reason is what we call grasping onto, a sense of permanent, that I'm going to stay for a long time. And the second is more kind of not understanding, subtle impermanence, that the momentary changes that is happening within oneself. And so here, again, the great master Kongda Rinpoche, in his advice, he used a metaphor of, basically saying that we shouldn't be living our life like he used an example of a sheep. And because sheep, as compared to goat, is considered as a more kind of more stupid. The goat, they are more kind of little clever. So sheep, when they are in the in the place where they're going to kill, they really don't have no understanding of what's happening. Even though in front of them, they are people are killing lots of other sheep. So Kongda Rinpoche, in this advice, he says that we shouldn't be living our life as like a sheep. We see a lot of what's happening to other people. They are dying, passing away because of impermanence, and we are kind of having our life as if kind of we have nothing to do with those kind of changes. Actually, those are very much part of our own life. And here, Krishna was saying that when he was down in Mongkot, there was a story that happened up in Ladakh, northern India. It was written kind of story that a butcher who used to be, the practitioners of Islam, and the offering and the killing of animals, they consider that as nothing wrong with that. They, in their belief system, those were given by God, by Allah to consume by man. So he killed a sheep, and then he took a break, to went to washroom, and then they said, next he's going to kill a goat at the same spot, and when he came back, he saw that the goat, covered his kind of butcher knife with the dirt, and then that really kind of changed his entire kind of way of outlook, and he felt really kind of sort of sad, disappointed, even feeling that he is worse than this the animal, and this animal has a sense of caring for her own life and trying to protect. Although the goat can communicate verbally like human, but with some physical gestures, she managed to cover the dirt over the sword. So try to protect her own life, and that really kind of changed. So that butcher decided not to kill any animals from that time onwards, and it also kind of shows that what we usually consider, that each and every human innately possess the good positive qualities of mind, compassion and love. So again, from this advice, as a human being possessing the unique human intelligence, we should be making our life, as mentioned before, a meaningful life. If possible, doing our best to promote positive qualities of mind, benefiting, serving others. If not, at least not harming others, and then able to use our time in a meaningful way with the understanding of momentary changes or impermanence nature, and try to promote positive qualities of mind.
Shugortegi de samutane Shenla Lunga Isunla Neyati Pang Shenla Pen Lunga Isunla 즉 무슨 유숨니 가서지 펜바투비에나 다들 펜바투비야 타나 즉 동산인제니 뺄지 즉 무슨 찍거나 세면상는 동산 펠리알라서 봐 되게 휴지 즉 로라 세면상나 꼼바 레비아치다 마음바나니 배 자와서 지디 가제 메와다 된디 공부하러 왔다 되게 휴지 깨치머리 왔다 두수난 공부하러 왔다 되지네 다 계산 밖에 참되는 주의나 맞죠 계산 사상 숨이와 길치와니 남질라 참에 치위스 취마도 관계 미편바 다 치위스 취마도 관계 미편바세 서브젝트에 왔다 드린 마주야래 다 취시야래 간디질 세고 그래 취시야래 디 치위치 취마도 관계 미편바 세대 취대 즉 간디질라 고고하래 말한서 팅이 주나 취 요바든지 집에 취지요래 요절에 취세야지 디요래 취지제 취지요래 간지 티지버지 경래 고아만다래 취지 로는 주와 셈는 주와 당야 간데 싱주와 당고래 어다티 셈는 주와 당네 치미 람라야 펜바 용야기 지어 인자 치위시 취마도 관경 미편바 세대 삽적 권한 대용 거와 다데 간데시 로는 주와 당고라잖아 단다 가라서 지시 풍본지여 봐 댄시들라 ngānzi 양레 때에는 농어리 그러지데 우마시기는 송도 르는 파발라기 오다 때서 ngā란조 지시 ngā덴버진 메덴진디요 ngā페 초두수 젠 열월도 왕기 랑초가 진초지네 아니 젠라 너베게도 랑라 펜베테 에투타 토마 메바니 티지니 자와 딘디지지니 아주 용화데 단단 가나주 칸낭도 쳐도 삼로지다나 삼로 코라도와 꼼베 원기지 파게 니제바이나 디니 또 투비안도와 삼로 멤버다나 마란조 꼼베 원기 주나 나 건가 곰바요래 나 시디가라 소수 돈다 제야라 니마 레 체레 인생 간디지나 가자게 두고와래 쟁기 돈다 라 트스지 제거 있잖아 디 규진 특가랑지라 에네베 녀다지 간지 물자기하게 탑시지고래 띵띵인데 젠라 펜바투비알라 콤파텐데 낸데기 젠라 너케라 콤바요인데기 이게 지가 담바른도와 디 왕게다 가지 대야 마리바데야 또저 두숨나니 되차 되바 세바 이 왕기 곰싱은 발레니 애니 나랑저 융아치 세증은 바데 누스진이 용고로 이게 당아서 차장 풍구도 오다 덴디지 풍아 통네 오다 유저다야데 라 진진길로든 파 매아수지 가지티 진진로데 센상라 가서 깨두지 깨 미투비야게 까야게 탑시지 젠 진진길로제 가서 즉 공도 맞게와 깨와페 양을 다와나진 패야게 탑실람람 배야 누시제나 와다 취싱디 뭐네 차고 누시제는 셈는 교와당야 와다 딘디가라 즉 셈는 교와당네 아니 장배 연된디기 깨와치마 펜젤 펜기레서 와다 대순 거레스
From the text, last time we talk about 3 points, beginning with the inevitability of death. Second point, the uncertainty of the time of death, and then third point being the only doctrine or teachings that can help at the time of death. We finished the first 2 points, and now we are moving on to the third point. That is, at the time of death, only a teaching or doctrine can help. So the teaching or doctrine here, generally, the word used here is dharma, which can have many different meanings. Dharma can generally it can refer to any phenomena or things, and but here it refers to the practice that can have the practice of transformation. Through practice, we can transform our mind in such a way that it can have a positive impact even in future life. So before that, Geshe-la mentioned about the teachings on impermanence. The teaching of impermanence is one of the teaching that we should be doing our best to implement, physically, verbally, mentally, directly, indirectly, explicitly, and try to promote and attain a positive qualities of mind. Because once we became familiar with the creating a positive qualities or doing a positive things, they won't have any problems or difficulties. So in the text by Aryadev, 400 stanzas, he mentioned that as long as there's a grasping towards this aggregate or this body, there is self-grasping, and because of that self-grasping, we create karma, and because of creating karma, we kind of take rebirth again and again in the cyclic existence. So what he mentioned here in this verse is the habitual kind of practices or the way of life that we have, and because of this, familiar with the grasping to self, and therefore self-cherishing thought, therefore doing or always engaging in doing something for yourself. We have been in this cycle of taking a rebirth of under the influence of self-cherishing thought since beginningless time. So we are so much used to it that we really don't need to make any effort. For example, because of that, we see in this lifetime, in order to do something, achieve something for yourself, we make every effort day and night, whatever that it takes. But in order to benefit others or help others, even if it is something doable, feasible, but by blaming on something kind of small reason, we try to avoid or not do it. So what we see here is the important role played by from the three root poison, the role of attachment, how one is attached towards oneself, and because of that attachment leading to downfallments of oneself and others. So coming back to the point, the teaching or doctrine here really refers to the practice that help us to promote what we call other cherishing thought, and if we don't have it, try to plant within ourselves, and then further kind of develop it, and try to reduce the intensity or the power of the ego mind or self-cherishing thought as much as we can.
송도 공단한부지 레자체 차수 추진은 라장의 추지 제견나 대kon장 루이 풍르이 추진나 드링니니지 세대 단다랑 배 오늘 가서 다 배나 민 와서지 가다 교부지기 샌디 떠녀기 고코데 쪼지 치마 편제데 발배 수디 제거와 아주 즉 달로데 단다 중고되고요 지금 말해 삼배 냅때 сед디 돈 달라 민당 트락바당 다 롱제당 된데다니 아니 샌디디 지금 내가 정말 강가 살지 아니 죄지인 라고 디 용말에서 소래 디 뭐네로 남질을 차요 마마 디지비 디진지 아니 레자제 사수 수제나 라장의 취지쟁이나 대군야 로이 풍리 딘디 삼로데 빼 삼로 풍리 삼로지레스 취지들라 빼 취지는 단다 빼 텐토 고라니 다 대기 공도 시세나지 셈나 교와다네 니 셈나 디기 소래게 다른 단다 텐토는 제거래 이제 오다티 숨고래 대개 전부지 놓아
also, advised by same master Khondan Buche. Again, he mentioned that the cause of our own kind of downfallment. He mentioned that this thought that I will do my practice when finishing all my job, all my activity. That kind of thought, that kind of attitude is really the cause of our downfallment. And using Geshe-la said himself as an example, because for us, the way of thinking that we have is we always consider this very lifetime most important, whatever that may be. Maybe you're doing whatever you can to make money, wealth, fame, whatever that. So everything that we try to focusing on this life, that I will make this lifetime successful, and then pushing practice into kind of later timing, saying that I will do my practice when I finish this thing. That kind of thing, Khondan Rinpoche says that it's really kind of the source of our downfallment, because that doesn't really happen. There is no end of the chores that we do, and so his point here is that practice should be doing at this very moment, as soon as possible. The practice of a transformation of our life, a transformation of our mind, and through that, attaining a peace of mind.
Oda dosjene da sumba sumbesis celayang chujebe longme par ngebar chiwa samsunis ngaju kindo ta chumden rang dore deleken cheni niki keso ta dele ngarando mize chujigin sigware ta mize lodukjuina losumchuseji nine ki gorwa ani zadung joji ki gorwa 근지 초바지나 취재 뒤쳐대 내마 책임지나 뒤쳐대 윤윤식이 차대요. 어디 뜻이 거래. 제가 닝이 계속 로준이 지바오. 로주 지바에서 닝이 다네 비거레스. 뉴신 로니슈니 게바오. 냥한당 맹안던 바다 룽알 왔다 이메대 왔다 두번 기장체 lui 주네 넘버 투마 야타 투메짱 저도 와다 두스네 뒤서 망보지다 때가 따도 두도와 오네 섬다나 오예네 소리 다티 점된데 랑기 로투양 앞주 공로 송자죠 디리 다티 나랑도 단다 지디 라 베자다 아니 소수 추중이 세비 라마 삼로지다나 뒤서 가로 오마 삼로 가진 눈에 빼져지자디나 디 zuردini 차다 몽숨 깨용도와 디 차나 몽숨 깨 갑도더라 미데 빼자다디 요레티 이들 차다 몽숨 깨데 로추순 로야 말와 따데 통구도와 어디 오네 아주 또 수진의 심지었지 랑그랑라 칸난도 전에 삼로당한테 시부지게 쳐버려 제가 왜잖아요 로투줄라 또 야당 제 숄니 추순로와 나양매 예송바다 게랍레경 게모 지든 뇽몬다 네바 미센 가민규 부문타이 판디야 덴바체바 니tun규 로와 딜타부니 코팔라 혀 지바메바 모사치 람남바 탐치 시다 니키 까 또바메바 라도 가진체 나당 가당 치윈 너체드라 튠체 가투미니 여진도 지든 8월 년로 지든 8월 냠게 년로나 셈시 수지 딜레 가와셈 세와다 두순도 와다 티 원에 삼당게 나다 디스 나진제 마주 뒤쳐라 삼다나 취제 뒤쳐다 뇽뇽 차디어래 뒤서다다 디 슈구타가 삼들어
네, 서로.
네레레 오타가나레 어떻게 버리시는지
뒤는 디 subject 하라는데 곧
sabject ngoni subject tambanajinda mindo
디 subject 집에서 슈 디 subject 하라. 계실 단계 subject 되는 거 저걸 디 그런 차에서 말했어. 디 고조규도.
노테 인사레
We haven't, so we are still, continuing with the second point. So, if you have a root textbook, that's on page 29. Page 29, beginning of the book. Thirdly, the way to think about certainty of death and the rarity of being able to practice the doctrine in this life is as follows. The Sutra on entering into the womb says. So, this talks about, how short time that we have for our practice, although we feel that, we push into the future, but as if we have a lot of time to practice, but in reality, we really don't have. So in this, sutra, it says, half our lives are spent asleep. Until we are 10, we are children, and after 20, we grow old. Then there are hundreds of other obstructions, misery, lamentation, suffering, depression, even quarreling, and various physical ailments, which limit our opportunity to practice. So if you look at the timing, how much we really have for our practice, in this sutra we see, beginning from our life, we say that first, 10 years we are children, so, we don't practice. Then when we look at the entire lifetime, almost half of the lifetime we sleep, so we have to take those half. And then within those, when we are awake, we have to take up the time that, we spend for eating and drinking and entertainment. So when you kind of minus all those timing from our entire, life, then there is really much time left for meaningful practice. And Geshe Chekawa said, out of 60 years, if you take away the time spent on livelihood and sickness, there's barely 5 years directed towards the doctrine or the practice of teaching. Birth story says, alas, the world is filled with disturbing emotions, an unreliable and unpleasant place to live. The glory of this water lily will soon become but a memory. Such is the fate of all beings. It is surprising that people still do not feel afraid, even though all roads are blocked by the Lord of Death. They are thoughtlessly lost in enjoyment. The destructive enemies, disease, old age, and death, are powerful and unavoidable. When they are certainly heading for danger in future lives, how can the wise enjoy any happiness?
간니께 띵이래강 시다 체험해 봤지 해설 때문에 sökirpa söpang 문도 공진도 개파수지 바이오종 텔레 발진 점메테 나니미제 설메파 데니치시 마파바 디시랑게 떤람베 제 순소 세워다 직에 두순도 와다 디인디가랑 아주 같이 수수 뒤치 취재하기 뒤쳤더라 단진지니 가수지 지기도 삼당대 시부지게 침벌이다 시부야마다 디니다 남친님의 때 남친의 밤에 봐 때디 토용우도 디다 가사 때기 sab지 숨는 땅보대 냄살도 지왕에 어디 지왕에 받대 나 sab지 숨다면서 어디 대치야
The letter to King Kanika says, "The Lord of Death is merciless. He kills a skillful man for no purpose. When death is so fast approaching, what wise man can live at peace?" Eventually, the invincible warrior will shoot his unbearable arrows before the inevitable occurs. It is in our interest to be prepared. So again, here kind of tells the with the understanding of having no control over dead and dying, we should be using timing or life in a meaningful way. So up to here we finish the first point, but within the first point there are three kind of further subtopics. So now we are going on to the second kind of big point. The three big point or major point is, as we mentioned earlier, the first one is inevitability of death, and for that there are 3 points further classified into three, and then second is uncertainty of the time of death. So the uncertainty of the time of death is the next point here.
니번 남친님의 삼발라 숨래 점불은 베체랑 네밤 메바 삼바 데미님 베체니 녜라 과다 두스치네 젠남장 라랑게 체제 두바 네밤 메장 팔차와 87 네방 망라스 다들이 린지 나네 점불링 바데 셀랑에 봐요 말해 링전달라 체제요 누팔란초 장데미년 샬류 바보테서 점불림바 셀랑에 봐요 말해 어때 인디가라다 가제 무물루루 중지나 지나 라라겐다 라라전 라라탈라 파피 미세 송도 어다 지 뭐네 가시 계산민이 치고라 가시 달말이 치고라 가시 게지 코안이 치고라 어다 두스치디가라 셀레 비는 네밤이도 어다티 직 삼당에 대 셀레 네밤에 온기 아니 최대 대기 공도 주지 최전나 단단히 되고야 어다도 삼모 코르게나 직 펜더 용도로 와 망라 점불링반에 신도 양 망에 바데 절레 니네 망에 타마니 로주 당부 파도메 어다 직 로주 당부 파도메 세야데 점불링발라 첼로 파메니 야벨 첼로 파메 버던도야 만디 첼로 주바 버던도야 어다 텐디기 직 숭고와 점불링발라 타마에니 베 첼로 주비디 아니 갈바 당부 차가라 첼로 파메 어다 두스치네 용고 다때 인디가 어다 됐어 니네 망에 타마니 로주 당부 파도메 제당 처음에 나도 효 망통와 지도까지 통민교 지도 효 망통와 나도 같이 통민교 때문에 나란조 즉 세계도 가시 계산을 되는데 드리는 정샤세 가시 에네베 칼라 자기지 좋은도야 는 가시 때 참상당는 상전은 좋은도야 그래서 유럽라 그라마트로 들어지 생인지 참상당는 좋은 순도야 다 도수제다 근데 즉 치와 생인데다 문행님의 가지가담래도 어다 되게 삼모다네 즉 공부제가 와다 백개 첨보래 개바품에 망보다 달라파페 미치나 델림 민디 존테다 선베 렌데 지지에 제 가지 말도 치워할게요 대신 가지 세퍼치 대신 가지 고참나 대신 가지 용교나 라라겐다 라라전 라라탈라 파페미 오다 림기 랍도 최교대 디부 민바 동화진 와다도 숭도와 와다 대삼단에 가지 넘치게매 삼단에 가지 규츠 강초라 아니 소수 셈라 디키슬야 디키테 잠베 차와지는 마다 디키 용고 말해 이니가라 가지 젬벤제데 쉬우지게 좀 차대요.
Page 30, the uncertainty of the time of death. Contemplation of the uncertainty of the time of death is also divided into three. Firstly, consider that the lifespan of people of this world is uncertain, whereas the lifespan of the beings of the northern world is definite. In some other worlds too, the lifespan is uncertain, but in most of them it is definite, yet that of the beings of this southern world is extremely uncertain. So in Buddhist kind of cosmology, it talks about many different 4 continents at the 4 different directions, and in the southern part is the our world. So the lifespan of the world is considered extremely uncertain. So Treasury of Knowledge says, ultimately the lifespan of this world is uncertain, whether the average is 10 years or immeasurable. Again, in the the Abhidharma Kosh, the text talks about a beginning of a life span of unlimited, then coming down into the lifespan of 10 years. So it talks about the different ranges of lifespan. Special verses collected by the topic says, of many people seen in the morning, some will not be seen in the afternoon, and of the many seen in the afternoon, some will not be seen the next morning. So this talks about as we kind of see people healthy, doing good in the morning, and then out of certain some factors, conditions, they passed away, in the afternoon or in the evening, kind of this deals with the topic itself. The time of dying, really, there's really no certainty. It can happen at any time, and Vishnu was mentioning, talking about somebody who just passed away, in France, so while he was in the restroom, mentioned. So there's really no certainty of passing away of the time, passing away. And to continue with the reading, and since many men and women have died in the prime of life, what guarantee is that there is that this one will not die because he is young? Some die in the womb, some immediately they were born, some die when they are crawl, and some when they have started to walk. Some die when they are old, some are young and in the prime of life. Everyone passes away by turn, like the dropping of ripened fruit. So what we see here is that the timing of death, really kind of uncertain right from beginning of the timing of our birth. As mentioned here, some passed away just after taking birth, and some at a young age, then adults, then so there's no really definite period that that we are going to die, and again, as mentioned earlier, to attain or enjoy, have a good result, we need to plant the right seed. That is the the seed of creating positive activities.
Oda niba chicken machine sonking new to somebody rinjin tamale. I think when it do some tangina haguda chi can the mangore. I never doesn't subject chain chicken ma sonking new any sumbe twinking the young gakin to do a do subject am good. One 맞아 클라자야 돼 뒤견어 봐 지금 망보 쉬우지다 오늘 지금 걸 장대 말해 선견데 두로 고야 칼라자야 유벤저 되게 선행인 되가자래 멘타루 선행나네 초지 이내양 맨자상이니 맨내는 배 집에 길는 누구도 와 아니 칼라자 괜상이니 칼라대야 지길는 누구도 와 두로 고나이니 두로 건바데 겸바데 지길는 누구도 와 아니 가르테서 딩뒤 체리기 다 튕겨 장보 쉬우지래 남루땅 다예 모자 생기기 아니 고야 동두견이 지기는 누구도 와 어떻게 되게 삼단이 뭐니 넘치 내밤에 봐지 삼단에도 와 rinjin tawale chida kenkin nangne pa lungmar nangdo marmejin oda te ngone re ngaranzu chik shu yen don dara chik debo thangpo ji yen don da chigyo de ngachu seso de lungmar nang marmej jaba chik chikpa kyang ne ngachu korwena chisam yewe ringdala tanda chik ngone li de thang yena kesa 뭘 가르사데 머스팅기 유샬리데 갈라 같이송 까르망행나 미몽보 가공랑도 주소 근데 집에 지켜 왔다 가서 텐데지네 데디요 코리오 코라 단 점불링 체리 토니 이야기했던 체리기 왜딱 릴람데 미지콜 타네 두세 mam보지 캐빌 타네 가주지 내가 가는데도 데리냐 내가 전부 와. 어떻게 되게 섬당 거래. 오늘 말도 누구서 섬단 아치 산삼지. 아니 셈나 코리아 누가. 디디 이젠라 말해. 강아주라 데미 재미스었던 상황인데요 말해.
So this the uncertainty of the time of death is further, as you see, categorized into I think three. And from these three, the second one is secondly, page 31. Secondly, consider how many factors lead to death, while the conditions for life are few. Although there are many, the factors or conditions or facilities in our life that are meant to be kind of, helping us to stay longer, healthier life. But when we compare that to factors and conditions that could be potentially, becoming a cause of taking away our life, they are much more as compared to the factors that is, helping us to sustain or survive. And in the text like Stages of Padma Lamrim, we find statement such as, not only there are a few conditions that, to sustain supporting our life, but those among the few can easily become kind of go reverse and become the cause or source of taking away our life, such as, the most ordinary factors that are supposed to help us to sustain our life, our food, our clothing, wealth, and among them, of course, the medicine is considered as one of the best ways, to heal. And but easily, this could, especially the medicine, could turn into something that becomes, source of taking away our life or source of death. And nowadays, because of scientific technology, we have, vehicles, car, planes. All are supposed to again help us, to make our life easier. But they can, in some way, can easily become something that, takes away life. So there's really no kind of, from a point of view of serious practitioner, there's really no guarantee that just being healthy, you won't die for a long time. The timing of death can come at any time, as we see, the example in the Boston Marathon. Those people were healthy, running, but suddenly, out of not knowing, many people died. And at this, kind of timing or period where scientific development has reached high. There are many factors and conditions that we attain through scientific could become a cause of destructive causes. So what is important here is kind of really kind of having understanding all of this, and then really kind of looking within yourself. You are basically sort of vulnerable to any of these factors and conditions. So therefore, again, coming back to the point, making your life meaningful, spending time in a good way. So therefore, in the Precious Garland, it says that living amidst the causes of death is like a lamb in the wind. So our human life is really like it's like a lamb in a kind of in a strong, in a very windy place. There are lots of factors and conditions that could easily become the cause of our death. Likewise, as mentioned here, lamp in the midst of very kind of windy area. And on top of that, being in the cyclic existence, the suffering of beginning with the basic human suffering, birth, aging, illness, death can come at any moment.
Samudana Tansador. Maranzo, Cesidigala, Shivu, Taj Lemba, Sosu, Ta, Yawangame Pachata, Tindi, Shivu Sogorde, Monijana, when is the Tadan de Omare, the one day Omare. Sending no Manung Tapai, Chichubur, Chichubur the Nuta, Chugala, Wajudo, they cook the room, Chu, Yomshen, Tindi, Chubur the Mangaya. Go to do see chick Valaptian for the Lamsa, ye doya, Chukorana, ye doya, young child, cook, that's Silvana in Chagdoa. What a decent one. I also saw there, take on double. Kanji, chick Matsu Lila, chick Pagi, saw the chain Dretan is a sauce in it. Namshi Kang Nepe Dretan, Drete. Da namshi dingi nedi sauce yo. Da drete yalena so ngapare. Shibu mindo. Je nalsona. So ni zin drete na namshi tenkang yin batang. Namshi kang nesi drete la tendi dedi so te tempo so neba. Drete yendu digala da so chepa. Namshi ndechi. Namshi Nesa Namshi Raman to turn Ruwa. What a tuxini, Sidigala, that was a tension, Nathan Tension on Teddy. They Uju Party, Ujitani, Sudumatuala, Chihuahua. They should give me doa. One is Samtana, one is Samtana, Nazu, Samji, Nazu, Zinjul. When is Chepachedi on the dingy, Tata de Gimita, not to the Nizumita, Muneredwa. What I think this Yanni on some tongue by the Ketchimbuji Chagore.
The friendly letter says, as life is as susceptible to harm as a bubble buffeted by the wind, it's really amazing that we have the chance to breathe in, breathe out, and awaken from sleep. As mentioned earlier, because of our kind of familiarity or habitual kind of attitude or mindset of this long life, stable life, sense of permanence, we really don't kind of have a strong awareness of how impermanent the nature of our life is. And in fact, here in the letter, friendly letter by Nagarjuna says that it can fall to any under any kind of harm at any time, and the nature of impermanence is such a kind of it's like a bubble in the water. The bubble can form anytime, can go away. It doesn't require any timing, and so our life, or life force, or sometimes it's translated as a soul, is basically our life force is the basis and foundation of what we call our life, or heat, or consciousness. So it's something really, although in our mind when we think about ourself and our life, so we think about something stable, but that is really, however, that is not really the case here.
This rinchen rawale karasa jigapale nipa mepe kunjungla sowa jiche kigyurde gawa namla dede je soda rinchen rawale chiwekin ni mang sumbikin ni nyungjing deta kyang chiwekin yang hianyang dewe tatu chunzoji soda de samudege de tane ani de chunji seya de chede ta lola semlang gyurwa tane rang jinjin la pato nene ni pe rang jinjin la kyundo taya oda jen jinjin la yunden de taya pato tuduji jen la pemba tuya oda dus jene semling gyurwa tane kacheshi disungore chunzoji siyade oda digidi samudane oda chichigure chiksungdoa da sumbade 남지 네바네바다 위양충와 세대 보다 대용과 용도와.
The 400 verses says individual elements are powerless, but assembled are not known as collection. Well-being is their balanced opposition. The precious garden says many conditions are conducive to death, few are supportive of life, and even they lead to death. Therefore, practice the doctrine always, or teachings, or dharma always. So, as we mentioned earlier, many conditions conducive to death, and few are supportive. And even those few are supportive can easily turn into, the other side, that is, the conducive to death. So, therefore, we should be making this life as, kind of putting into always practice, dharma or teachings here, and that is, engaging in the practice in a such way that, helping, benefiting, serving others, promoting, other cherishing thought, and reducing as much as we can of self-cherishing thought.
단나가서 내부 당부 인세야 돼. 리 중화시대 찬연부 내디가라 다 대탕시 걸어. 아니 중화 메토스에는 차와기 양 산에 대비온 거래. 자마토스 예용데가라 아니 대왕기 당연하자 망부지 내용 거래. 사랑 참 많이 엄데가라 다 가긴 태교래. 사랑 찬연 받에 다 덴디지가는 데디었다. 오늘 처지는 삼단은 양안에서 들어와.
So when we say, we are in a kind of good health or healthy state of body, it really, the understanding here is we are the state where the elements of the body are in a very kind of balanced way, the four basic elements. But if somehow there is imbalances, when there's more fire element, or when there's more water, or wind, that is the illness. So the way we're able to maintain such a kind of at the balanced state is sometimes it's it's kind of something amazing, they're able to maintain that kind of state.
다 이자잖아.
Okay, so we'll take a break here.